Hello, Gemini. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann, Supportive Oracle Cards, the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. Okay. Let's go ahead and see what you got here. Okay. Oh, those over there. I don't know if that's good or not. I don't know if that's good or not. We'll find out. Coming into this situation, you've got the giraffe with the Three of Cups. The giraffe is like, it literally says seeing the bigger picture, but sometimes it's being able to reach up a little bit higher than other people. Your reach is a little bit higher than other people is what I'm feeling with the giraffe right now. I'm like, because you know how they can get the tops of the trees, and I know that they do have a better view of things, it's true, but I'm getting like you're able to grab something that not everybody can grab. You're able to see something. Well, that's normal for Gemini. You can see something other people can't, and I feel like that's why you're able to grab something other people can't, because you're able to see the opportunity. I also see that with the Three of Cups, you're sharing this opportunity with other people. That makes sense. That's how you make friends. Like, that's how you honor friendships sometimes, or connections. You see something, you're like, I can grab this, and you're saying, hey, guess what, everybody? This is up here. If you want to get up here, find your way up here, or maybe you'll even drop down some of this fruit for them. You'll snip some of it off, bite it off, and they can have some too. So I'm getting like, you see something other people don't, you have an advantage, other people don't, you're sharing it with others with the Three of Cups. Seems great. No sweat off your back. It's kind of like there's more than enough. I feel like there's more than enough. You're like, why not share? Why not share the people I like? Sounds good. I want to do this first. Okay, this fell out of the deck while I was shuffling, and I was wondering how this is going to come in. And I was like reluctant to even... It's the Nightingale, but it's reversed. I'm getting... and I got it as soon as it fell out. So, whoever you're sharing information with, sharing stuff with, I just don't feel like... this is not good energy. In the sense of, like, it's not going to honor you. Whether this person or people are good or bad or indifferent, I don't think that doesn't really matter. It's not a good energy for you. Because I feel like you're putting yourself out there, you're helping other people. My first thought is it's not coming back your way. I'm getting like, just remember that. Don't expect something back from people, whatever this is. Like, how do I say this? Like, keep your eye on this, because you're not getting the return you should. And the love is all around being reversed is kind of like, I feel like there's people here and you're sharing what you found with them. And it seems like one hand should wash the other. But I feel like it's kind of like, all right, there's people around, you're dropping the fruit down, you're telling them where it is, they're enjoying it with you, but then they kind of go off on their own and they just kind of forget about you is what I'm getting. There's a lot going on here. It seems like I'm getting the King of Cups here, but when I'm getting the Seven of Cups with the Eight of Wands, a lot is happening. I just feel like you might be forgotten. Like, you're just kind of like they're walking away from you. There's a big change here coming in with your butterfly. You have the butterfly card. This is frustrating to me because I feel like things are changing really quickly. And it's kind of like you're helping other people out. And it seems like you get along really well. This is kind of baffling to me. Because it does seem like you get along very well with these people. But I'm also getting like they don't seem to be reciprocating this generosity. And the love is all around is reversed. So I just feel like it might be one of those things where somebody's nice while you're nice to them. Somebody's good while they're good. While you're good to them, they're easy to deal with. But once they don't have something to get from you, they just kind of go away. It's like they're only there while the going is good. Even though the King of Cups is there. I'm noticing he has his eyes closed too. It's just, that's what I'm getting. It's not a bad situation, but I just feel like this is the energy that it's just around while the going is good. and then it just goes away. I don't see it coming back in a negative way. I just feel like it's only there while things are good, and then there it goes. It's gone. Your next card is Be at Home. I feel like when it moves on, I feel like you definitely notice it, but you're kind of like, the Be at Home here, you have some other good cards here. It's kind of like, this has moved on. This energy's moving on, and you see it moving on. But I also see you kind of looking at this kind of like, all right, well, I put myself out there. Nothing really negative happened to you, but at the same time, it's one of those things where I think you're looking at this in a very good way. Kind of like, well, it's better to know now before this gets any farther. It's almost like I went on a date once years ago, and I was very attracted to the person, and I was very chatty. And then they yelled at me at the first date because when I get excited, I tend to switch subjects a lot. And they yelled at me for it. Like, can you stick to one subject? And they got really upset with me. And I didn't even realize I was doing it. But I remember thinking at the time, I'm like, well, this is good to know now. Like, before we go any farther, because that was the first and only date that I went on with that person. So I was like, oh, well. Like, it shocked me, but at the same time, I didn't get upset. I just thought, good to know now, because I do this when I get excited. I talk really fast. I talk in a lot of different directions. And if that's upsetting to them, good to know, and bye. So I feel like this is kind of the similar energy. You're not upset, but you're like, well, if they weren't going to give a crap about what happened to me or give me something in return anyway, and they're just going to peacefully leave because I don't have anything to give to them anymore, that's fine. It's good to know now. It's good to know now. That's what I'm getting with the home energy with you. Kind of like, you know what? I'd rather know than not know. Rather know now rather than have something negative happen later. The lion spirit with the white raven is coming in. I feel like this is going to change your environment for some reason. Like, when I say change your environment, I know those people are leaving, so that's obvious. But I'm getting like, you're starting to look at things a little differently. I think you're noticing a pattern. Like, it's something where you've kind of noticed it before, but maybe kind of let it go. But you're starting to see, like, wait a minute, I need to be very careful about, even though I can just give to people, maybe I shouldn't just give to people because I can just give. Because I end up in this deficit where I give because I have extra, but nobody returns that favor. Maybe I should be a little bit more selective and a little bit more restrictive. And when I find somebody who's willing to give back, then give that person everything I can do without worrying about it. And not just give it to just random people just because I have extra. Maybe I should be more careful with that. The Nine of Cups comes in here too. Kind of like, I have a lot to give. You have a lot to give, and you know this, but you're like, and I feel like you've had like the energy of like, just giving to give. Like, I have extra. Like, I see all this extra fruit. Might as well give it to other people. It's going to, it's just sitting here anyway. Instead of doing that, kind of like, why don't I just leave it on the tree? Maybe I'll come back for it later. Maybe I'll need more later. Or maybe when I find somebody who's worth it, I'll be like, hey, you're hungry? I know where we can get some fruit. Bring them back to this tree and knock down the extra fruit for them because I know they're worth it. Don't just knock it down because it's there and there's people around here. No, don't do that anymore. I feel like that seems to be how you're upgrading your thought process. Kind of like, well, it was just there. And I thought, well, why not give it away? And then I can make maybe some extra friends. Nope, that wasn't working. Now I'm going to find people worth it. Hold that stuff to the side, and when the right person comes, I'll give it to somebody who I know will value it and realize I looked out for them. Good energy is coming towards you. I feel like somebody's offering something to you. You got the lion kind of twice here. You got the lion spirit here, but then you got the strength card coming in again with the lion. And then you got the temperance coming in with the lion. The temperance, I'm a little nervous for you in this one, because this is in the environment. The reason I'm nervous is because sometimes it's Sagittarius energy. I like Sagittarius energy. I'm good with it. But when it comes to Sagittarius and Gemini, they're not always compatible. Sometimes they drive each other nuts. They get along really well for a while, and then they kind of don't go well. What I'm saying this for is kind of like this energy is coming toward you. Somebody who is giving to you right off the bat. When I'm getting, like, I almost get like a Leo Sagittarius mix here. So I feel like somebody's very open, very forthcoming, very giving. They might have some different qualities. It's very good, but I feel like somebody starts off giving to you right in the beginning. I think this is really good. I feel like you just need to like pay attention to this and watch out for when there might be points of contention, because these are very interesting energies to come towards you. They're very compatible when it comes to Leo and Sagittarius. These energies are compatible. Leo is compatible with Gemini. Sagittarius is not compatible with Gemini. So like I'm just kind of pay attention to what's going on. I think you might get somebody who honors you and is very giving and that you could give in return. But there might be some like pieces of adversity. I'm trying to understand what that means, because it's kind of like you might have to like just pay attention to this person and see like, all right, we get along well. This person does do for me, I do for them. But it might be something where you might want to regulate how close you get to this person, or just kind of like be careful. Watch how they really talk. Watch out for small things in the beginning. Because when this person enters your life, I feel like there might be little like tells. You might notice little things that get on your nerves, but you're like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Those little things are like seeds, is what I'm feeling. They're not that big now, but they will grow. Just be aware of it. I think if you identify things that annoy you in the beginning and realize they will get more intense as time goes on, you might be able to find a way to like deal with that, or kind of path to work around it so it's not a big problem. But you want to identify it and really hone in on it and be like, oh wait, this little thing that's actually going to become much more later, how I'm dealing with it now, can I deal with it the same way later, or am I going to be able to deal with it later? Just, you want to keep your eye on that. You want to keep your eye on the prize with that. Because it may be a compatibility thing. Nobody's bad here. Keep that in mind. Nobody's bad here, but it might be just the way you deal with life differently. It might be aggravating for you even more in the long run. Because you got the dove spirit with the Ace of Wands. In the beginning especially, it's very peaceful. Everything seems very compatible. Everything seems very good. A lot of activity going on here. They give to you. It's almost like that's how this starts off. They give to you, and you're like, well, if they're giving to me, there's no reason I can't give to them. They've already proven that they're looking out for me, so I want to honor that. I want to keep this person around. The way to keep the peace, notice the things that annoy you in the beginning. They're going to be small. But then keep that in your mind and think about that. Those are going to get a lot larger. How can you handle that? Will you be able to handle that? How do you keep this in track? Because if you see it coming, you know what I mean? If you see it coming down that road, it's so much easier for you to plan and think about and deal with when it happens. Rather than going, oh, it's a little bit annoying, but it's not that bad, and just kind of turning your back to it. Because then it'll come back up. It's almost like, a scorpion tail. It'll come back and whip you in the head. And like, ooh, it's going to make you mad if you didn't see it coming. If you keep your eye on it, and you're like, oh, that scorpion, oh yeah, that tail. And you just keep your eye on it. When that tail starts whipping around a little bit, you're like, oh, I'm getting out of the way. I'm getting out of the way before I get smacked with that tail. It'll just bring you much more success. This is a good person. I do think this is somebody you want in your life. But I think the point is, if you're able to identify those little things, realize they're going to become big things later, you can navigate through it. It won't be a problem. If you don't identify those little things and ignore them, when they become big things, they're going to be a big problem. This is hopefully set up to give you an advantage on that. Okay, are we good? Good. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.